Femininomenon.
Femininomenon.
Right, which is a TikTok, and it's an individual TikTok posted to the Kamala HQ account with audio from a eponymous song by Chapel Rowan. It's the account's
There's
highest,
no W. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stern Spiel, a weekly podcast where I talk to my dad. Hey, Dad.
Hello, Veronica. That's me, Charlie Stern, at New Charlie Stern on Instagram.
Oh, okay. He's getting an Instagram plug in there right away.
Got to get it out there. People start connecting and following and liking and doing all that great stuff.
Well, if we have any viewers from the last few episodes, do we look different today? I swear to you, every single time we record this podcast, it changes.
Well, I am making small technical changes to gradually improve the overall look, feel, and sound of the show.
Whatever. I mean, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, Veronica. There's a lot going on in the world, in our lives, as always. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to have a good show. We got a lot to talk about.
Do you want to ask me how I'm feeling?
And how are you feeling, Veronica?
I actually feel really horrible right now.
Why?
I had a migraine this morning, and then I was feeling like fine again, and then I came down here, like I ate some food just now, and now I'm feeling like horrible again, and I don't know why. Like my head is killing me all of a sudden.
Migraine headache is no laughing matter. Do you think you can do the show?
Yeah, I can make it through the show. I'm just like, why? It's just like, oh my God. But you know what? Tomorrow I am going to go renew my gym membership because I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have not been working out the way that I was.
Right.
I'm a very active person, but actually intentionally going to the gym to work out, I think is really, really helpful. So I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow and reset that and get back to how I was doing before.
Well, hydration is very important.
Yeah, but I drank some liquid IV
very important.
This morning. I don't know, maybe it's the supplement that I take because I literally just took it and now I'm feeling really bad again.
What kind of supplement?
A multivitamin.
Containing what? All kinds of things.
Yeah.
Well, just be careful with it, Veronica. For me, the big trigger was sleep issues.
Well, I have also been sleeping horribly. So I feel like going back to the gym, working out, doing all of that will really help, hopefully.
I hope you get some relief for it. There's nothing worse than headaches, and it makes you sick all over.
Yeah, it's not very good.
I'm sorry that that's going on.
Thanks. What changes did you make to the set? We're definitely closer to the camera.
So I moved the seating maybe 6 inches close to the camera. I put you want to know the technical gory details. Yeah. I put a backlight behind us, and I also moved the one of the fill lights, the light that sort of fills the background. Mm-hmm. I moved that around a tiny bit and spotted it, just kind of controlled it a little bit better.
All right, well, if you like the way that it looks, let us know in the comments. I think that would be really helpful so that we can stop making changes every single week. I get it, but I'm also consistency.
All right, I understand that. Well, we haven't changed the set.
Yeah.
We've just made, micro adjustments to improve the look.
Okay. What have you been up to this week?
You always ask me that. This week I've been up to the same old tricks. I'm working on developing a business opportunity with a friend of mine, so that continues to consume time and energy. And I'm also, what else am I doing? Just the grind of my regular W-2 job. Very demanding as always. And a big thing that happened this week is your brother went off to college. Complicated week because it's going to college, but
he's kind of at a camp.
He's on a camping trip for 4 days before he starts college.
What do you think he's doing right now?
Walking through the woods. That's what I think he's doing.
He's walking through the woods.
I think that's what they do on these trips. I can't imagine what else they do. Supposedly he's going to walk 6 to 8 miles
a day.
For every day.
Oh, stop it.
That's not as far as you think. I mean,
in the city,
when I walk, that's a 3-mile walk. It takes me about 58 minutes. So
I guess.
8 miles is only a couple of hours of walking. I think it's on and off over the course of a long day. I think he's seeing scenic scenery in the beautiful Finger Lakes area of upstate New York, and he's doing his thing.
That's so nice. I'm excited to.
But it was a lot of energy to get everything packed, one for the camping trip and two for moving him into his dormitory because all his belongings are in the corner of the dining room right now.
Right.
And we're going to, drive that stuff up there next week. So getting ready for that, my job, working on the business, getting the podcast together, all that's a lot.
Yeah. So I have been up to I went to see the Try Guys this week.
I know the Try Guys from Quincy watches them.
No, I watch them.
Well, they try food and stuff like that.
So the Try Guys are these three guys.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. But actually now that's like a whole cast of people. But it started out as like Try Guys try babysitting, or like Try Guys try to wear like women's clothing for a day. And it's become like just so massive. It's like one of those like pinnacle like YouTube shows. And I've loved them for a really long time. And back in I think April, they announced that they were going to go on tour. So they have one show called Eat the Menu. And it's one of the guys, his name's Keith.
What day did you go to this?
Saturday.
So this is a live presentation of Try Guys, and did they say what they were going to be trying?
Yeah, so they have a series on their channel called Eat the Menu. One of the guys, his name is Keith. He will go to like an Applebee's or like a Popeyes or something like that, and he'll try every single thing on the menu. And he's been doing it, I think they said that he's done like 50 videos of that, over 700 like billion streams of it. Incredible. Or views or whatever.
Incredible.
And yeah, so they announced that they were going to go on tour this year, or in April, and it was going to be Eat the Menu live. And I was like, oh my God. And like I told myself at the beginning of this year that I was going to like do more fun things and like actually like plan to like go and do those things, because I feel like what happens a lot of the time is like when you're an actor, you don't want to plan anything too far in advance, because you're like, well, what if I'm working during that time and then I can't go and I have to sell my ticket? I was like, that's stupid. I'm going to purchase this ticket because I know I'm going to be available. And if I'm not, I can return it. But like, I'm going to purchase it and I'm not going to like worry if I have a job and during that time. So basically, I purchased one ticket for myself back in April, and it was in August, so it was like 4 months away. And it finally came, the day finally came, Eat the Menu tour. I was a little bit nervous to go by myself because, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I was like, I'm sure we will be fine. Like, I've gone to musicals by myself before. I've done those kinds of things. So I was like, all right, like, I'll give it a shot.
So is this the thing? Did you go to Brooklyn one day?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew you went to Brooklyn, and I didn't know that.
I actually went to Brooklyn twice this week, which is like more than I've ever been to Brooklyn, but And
it was for Try Guys.
Yeah, so I went to the Paramount Theater in Brooklyn, and I knew that the tour was going to be like getting the audience involved, but it was amazing. Like, there was so much audience participation, and Dad, I ended up on stage. Unbelievable. So what happened is the first time they came into the audience.
How big was the audience? We talking 500 or 2,000?
2,000.
Oh, big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a proper Broadway theater.
And how far into the audience were you?
I booked a ticket, or booked a seat like in the back, because that was the cheapest one. And also I like booked it sort of on the aisle because I had a feeling there would be audience participation and I like wanted to be a part of it. So the first time they came into the audience, they were like having people try random foods. I didn't get picked, and I was like, darn it. So the second act, I was like, I'm going to get picked. It was clear to me that there was going to be like a lot of audience participation. It's like, I am going to get picked. So the guy came into the audience, Keith, and he was like, who wants to come on stage with me? And I was like, Keith, me, please, me. And he was like, okay, you go. And I was like, yes. Oh my God. And I took my bag, and I was in a section where there weren't a lot of people because it was pretty sold out, but like, the section I was in was a little smaller. So I guess what they wanted to do is they had 10 seats on stage, and they just wanted to give like people that had like bad seats a better seat, so they brought us on stage. And I was a little bit nervous that I was gonna have to like participate in the eating section of it, because like,
And did you?
No, thankfully I didn't have to like actually do the eating.
Tell us what happened on stage.
So on stage, I got to sit up there for like almost all of the second act. Basically, we watched him try foods from Smorgasburg. Do you know Smorgasburg?
No.
It's like a food festival in Bronxville, Brooklyn. Yeah, and
Like
basically,
a food hall or an event?
it's like a food event hall. Like, it's outside. It's
Okay.
There's 2 Smorgasburgs, I think. in
Okay,
New
so they
York.
had food from Smorgasburg.
Yeah, so it's like a bunch of different vendors,
Okay.
basically.
And so were other people chosen from the audience or just you?
No, so there was 10 people.
So, sorry, I lost you.
Yeah.
10 people. Okay.
So there was there was 11. One of the girls was like I'm not to not get into like the whole bit of what it was. Actually, they filmed it and they're gonna release it on Saturday.
Great.
So I'm gonna
be on
relieve
YouTube.
it.
So you were up there as a taster.
I was up there as like a spectator, basically. Do you know Baking with Babish? Or
Never
Cooking
heard
with-
of it.
You don't know Babish?
I don't know Babish.
Well, he was there. Do you know the guy that dresses up as like the rat and like basically like terrorizes people on the subway?
Not familiar with that little corner of the popular culture.
Okay,
No.
so he was also there. And then they also played another game that's on their channel, and I got to like sit like literally right there, and it was just like amazing because I've loved the Try Guys for like ever.
I feel like there's a corner of the millennial universe that I just don't know about.
Yeah,
and
I don't
that's
know
what
why
you're
you would
talking
know
about
the
right
Try
now. But I
Guys.
have seen I've seen Try Guys because you play it in the living room. Sometimes Quincy watches it.
Yeah.
I may be confusing Try Guys. There's these guys that like try hot chili peppers and stuff. I think I've seen Try Guys episodes. I definitely
So anyways,
have.
that was the Try Guys Eat the Menu tour. It was absolutely incredible. I was so blown away by the amount of audience participation there was. And like the Try Guys, especially Keith, have like roots in like theater and stuff. So it was a very well run operation, and
Right.
it was great. And the only thing that annoyed me is that the people that were on stage with me would not stop talking, and like Keith was getting like kind of mad. I'm wondering if they're gonna keep that in the episode they put up on their channel, because he was like, "Can you guys stop talking?" And I was like this. I was like, "I'm not talking." Like, I was scared we were gonna get kicked off the stage.
I can relate to Keith a little bit
Why?
because sometimes you can't stop talking. I mean, look, Veronica, that's not today or yesterday. That's been your whole life.
No.
Yeah.
What's the saying that says people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones?
All
That's
right.
you.
Okay. Well, maybe that's where you got it from. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that is where I got it from.
I don't know. All right. Well, that's an interesting experience, and you got to be a part of a big show. As
It
they
was
say.
very fun. And also
Yeah.
I got to like, they mostly did like restaurants in New York that I know about, like that are like pretty, popular. So
Right.
like the Halal Guys and like Russ and Daughters and stuff like that. But speaking of restaurants, I read this article this week in the New York Times that I thought we should talk about, which was like very, very interesting. Basically, it's called "I Reviewed Restaurants for 12 Years. They've Changed and Not for the Better." Basically, this restaurant critic, Pete Wells, wrote his last essay, critic review, whatever, and he's reflecting on like the world of restaurants and like how they've changed over the course of the 12 years that he's been in the critic's sphere.
Now, maybe mixing up articles. Is this the guy that was a restaurant critic and was leaving being a critic and talking about how difficult that it was to be a critic and constantly have to eat the food?
Oh, no. I don't know. I mean, it may be. I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
It was very recent.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but this is a different article.
Go ahead.
So basically, he's saying how like we are losing human touch at restaurants, and something interesting that he says in the article is basically there's like a new app that is basically changing the way we eat at restaurants. Like you can check in upon arrival on the app, and then you can actually pay on the app as well.
Right.
And like there's like no human touch. Basically, you basically go to a restaurant, check in that you're there, you get seated, you order on the app, and then you also pay on the app, and then you leave.
And so this sort of dehumanization of the restaurant experience is, in his argument, bad.
Yeah, so basically he's saying like it used to be that dining was like the most common denominator experience that we all have to do. Like we all have to eat, and we all usually come together to do that. It's usually like a communal thing. Whatever's happening during the day usually like leads to a dinner, you know, where you like sit down with people, you talk.
Sure.
And he's saying that like we're losing that.
Veronica, I can remember restaurants not so long ago where they had communal seating areas. You'd sit at long tables. Now, if you
still have that.
If you went with 4 or 5 people, you would still sit with the people that you arrived with, but there could be a totally separate set of strangers, shoulder to shoulder, on the same row. I don't see that happening anymore.
No, and one of the things that he's saying is like we're basically restaurants are becoming these like vending machines, is what he says. You basically. There used to be a time where you would have to call to make a reservation.
Yeah.
Now you just go online. Some restaurants like that are newer don't even have a phone number.
Right.
So like there's no way to even like talk to a human being if you wanted to.
So it's all mechanized.
And the thing that he mentioned here too is like ghost kitchens especially are like ruining culture because you don't even, so it used to be like, oh, let me support the local business, right? Now with a ghost kitchen, you don't even know who's cooking your food.
That is very true. And though it seems like an interesting thing because the ghost kitchen can produce the restaurant result, it's not the restaurant.
No.
And they could be cooking curry chicken right next to barbecued fried fish. And you wouldn't know. And they could deliver they could say, here's restaurant 1 and here's restaurant 2, and they're cooked in the same location at a ghost kitchen.
Ghost kitchens are a really bad
I
problem.
don't know, if I want to say it's necessarily bad, but it is certainly very different from, well, you know what did this? High rent, right? Because if you got to pay, $95 a square foot for restaurant seating, there's a strong incentive to develop something that people can order, get delivered, and you're going to give them the same food. So I understand where it's coming from.
I thought this article was very interesting, and I guess my question to you is, do you like the way that restaurants are going, where it's like you barely even have to talk to like a waiter anymore? Or do you feel like we really are losing that human touch and like the ability to participate in our dining experiences?
So it comes back to something that's a recurring theme on this show, which is culture. All those things you're talking about, open table, the restaurant order entry systems, the reservation systems, all that stuff is draining the culture from dining and from restaurant culture and restaurant lifestyle, from the mid-level all the way up to the most expensive restaurants.
Right.
There's always going to be a place in the world, it'll become more of a luxury product for the tablecloth, the waiter, the waitress, the maitre d', all those roles that exist within a restaurant. They're always going to exist at the most expensive places, but they're going to be less and less accessible over time. And I think that's probably what this guy's driving at.
So do you want that, or are you like, I don't care?
I'm agnostic because I also think that there's a place for a good food at a fair price. And I enjoy going to restaurants, but I don't enjoy $30, $40, $50 a person.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, that's like fancy places.
That's not, the $35 a person is not so fancy. This family goes to $35 a person restaurants week in and week out. And many of them, we sit in the restaurant, and while we're sitting there, delivery after delivery after delivery person comes through.
Right.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
So I know what that guy's talking about. I'm not going to necessarily say good, bad, indifferent, or pass judgment on it, but it's real. It's real. And I think to a very large extent, it's being driven by the high cost of goods and services and high rent.
Well, I really enjoyed that article. Do you have anything you want to share from
this
week?
Most definitely. I have a couple of things to talk about, and this is a jump off on things that we talked about Kamala Harris on a couple of previous episodes.
Yeah.
CNN has this amazing article. The theme of the article is that Kamala Harris, there's a couple of themes. One is that this campaign inherited a web and digital team from Joe Biden. So they had an internet handle, which was Biden HQ. Mm-hmm. And then when Joe Biden said, I'm not going to run for president, they moved it over and it became Kamala HQ. Yes. And apparently there's 175 people doing web and digital
I mean, that just blew me
for
away.
Kamala HQ. It's a stunning number of people. And then there's another little statistic. I mean, this article goes into an extraordinary and a very unusual amount of detail about how this operation actually works. The number of plays Harris's Kamala HQ TikTok received for its 65 posts in 20 days is more than double what Biden HQ's 335 posts received in roughly 5 months. So that is such an extraordinary escalation in attention online that I think it's worthy of some discussion. And here's the thing. We saw some of this in 2008 and then in subsequent races. Obviously, social media and presidential politics is not new to 2024. So the thing about this whole thing, I want to get your perspective is, what is it? Is it the joy of the meme? Is it the cultural moment that this presents? Because what I don't see on the in the TikTok grid or in the Instagram reels by Kamala HQ is policy. I don't see a lot of discussion about left, right, center, international politics, healthcare. I don't really see all that stuff.
So what it is this. And you're probably going to disagree with me, but this is just my feeling. They made a choice for Instagram and TikTok, specifically more so TikTok, to cater to the audience that is on TikTok, that uses it, that understands it the most.
Yes.
And those people are 18, honestly 16 to like 27 Gen Z that is like lives in the memes. Okay, they get their information from memes. Their life is memes. We talk in memes. Like we are just a meme culture. But let me finish.
What information do they get from memes?
Everything.
What information about Kamala are they deriving from memes?
I found out that JD Vance is a Never Trump guy from that meme. I literally would have never found that out if I didn't see that TikTok.
That's what I'm getting at.
And they do sprinkle in policy stuff because I see their graphics, so they still do sprinkle in that other stuff. But by like putting the memes and the one where they used the dance mom sound where it was like, I was just enjoying my evening when all of a sudden a grating voice, and it's like JD Vance's airplane that came on the same day that they were at the same airport.
Yes, I saw that one. Yep.
They're incorporating it in this way that is just like genius, and that will be studied for years to come. And I don't know, I think it's just like so smart, and it's hopefully pays them dividends in the end, because it will get a lot of Gen Zers out to the polls that I don't think would have before. And I will say that this is all of this to say, this is a generalization. I don't necessarily think Gen Z cares about policies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just care to have someone that they feel represents them,
right,
and understands them. And I think that they can say they care about policies all they want, but as long as there's one thing that they like, they'll just be like, yeah, okay, I could get behind this person.
I see exactly the same thing that you see, and I think that Obama had something called, remember Obama Girl? Do you remember that?
I got a crush on Obama.
It was a
oh my God, yes.
It was the meme of its day, and and what that did was it galvanized his virility and his youngness and all of that. And this team of 175 young people, and what you said was on point. They've got one team for TikTok and another team for Facebook for older people, and another team for Instagram, and another team for other platforms. And they're able to sort of tunnel into the interests of these groups in a very deeply psychological way.
Yeah, very psychological.
So anyway, just to wrap up on this whole topic, a couple of interesting factoids here. Kamala HQ now has over 3.3 million followers. I mean, it may be slightly higher today. Doubled overnight in the hours after when it was switched over. The Kamala Harris TikTok account, her personal handle, gained 2 million followers in the 24 hours after it began posting.
Wow.
And it's now up to 4.3 million followers. And Femininomenon,
Femininomenon.
Right, which is a TikTok, and it's an individual TikTok posted to the Kamala HQ account with audio from a eponymous song by Chapel Rowan. It's the account's
There's
highest,
no W.
It's the account's highest performing and most liked post.
Wow.
And at the time of the writing, 56 million plays. I looked at it today. I think it's up to about 60 million plays and 7.3 million likes. Think about that ratio of likes to plays. I mean, it's staggering.
Well, yeah.
How many people are clicking like on there? So that is
Wait, Dad, before we move on, I
very
just
good
wanted
for-
to say this one
for
thing.
prospects.
Do you remember Irish Obama song?
No, I don't.
Toodaloo, 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 toodaloo,
Now I do.
There's no one as Irish as Barack Obama.
Yes, now I do.
Like-
Now I do. Right.
Like, that's
Right.
the only thing I'll say is that I don't think virality is the same as it was in 2008, where
Yeah.
it's like there was like one or two things where it was like that's a thing, everybody remembers it. Now it's like so many things just because we're like fed so many things at once. But yeah, it's definitely very interesting that you draw that comparison.
So we're nearly out of time, but there was another big cultural moment this week, which we could touch on really fast.
Yeah.
And it was the Miley Cyrus Disney Legends moment.
Yeah.
And I happened to walk into the kitchen and I watched it, and your sis
Yeah.
said, my reaction, chills.
Literally.
Chills.
Oh my God.
It
Honestly,
was a very touching, honest.
so honest.
Couldn't have been more authentic about her reflections on Hannah Montana, and it was really something to see.
It was really, really great. I loved that. Hannah Montana is the best. No, Miley Cyrus is the best.
So, Veronica, that's going to do it for yet another episode of the Stern Spiel.
I don't want to say it, but I kind of think that was a great episode today.
I hope so. I hope so. And if you think it's a great episode and you're watching or you're listening on the podcast, follow that set where you get, a notification when a new episode comes out. Follow, like, subscribe. I'm at New Charlie Stern on Instagram and
at Veronica Stern on Instagram at the Stern Spiel on
right,
Instagram.
and you can catch clips over there as well.
Yeah.
We're doing this because it's just a lot of fun to do, and we think we're having some meaningful conversations that can be valuable for other people. So
we have
if you have
text
ideas, thank you. There's a
number.
There's a text button. If you're listening to the podcast, at the top of the show notes, there's a button. You click that and we'll get a text message.
So text us if you want like certain topics to be covered. It doesn't have to be pop culture, but if it's like something you want dad advice on, or you want to like hear our different perspectives, definitely text us.
If you want dad advice, you could listen to you put it in the YouTube comments. Yeah, or if you don't get the results you want from me, you could check out David Bryan.
By the way, my friend told me that she listens to that podcast.
Yeah,
and I was like,
popular.
I've never heard of this girl, but honestly, good for her.
Gabby Bryan. I think it's good for them.
Last question.
Yeah.
Do you think that this ring that I bought could be causing my migraines?
No. I think if you're concerned that the ring is causing your migraine headaches, you can stop worrying about that.
No, so you don't think so?
No. I don't know what's causing your headaches, and I wish you'd find out because it's no laughing matter.
Okay.
But that ring is not the problem.
It's too serious now. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Listen anywhere you get podcasts. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.